Students, so in today's lecture we shall be learning about the various accounting concepts which are generally used to prepare the account statements. So the rules which are generally followed and contain general guidelines for preparing of financial statements are referred to as generally accepted accounting principles. You will also sometimes find the term written as GAAP. This means general accepted accounting principles. Accounting principles. So now let us see what are the various accounting concepts. Now the accounting concept means the necessary assumptions, we can say these are the necessary assumptions or the conditions on which accounting is based. So there is a list of various accounting concepts which are generally to be followed. There are total of 10 accounting concepts and we shall be learning them one by one. The first accounting concept is known as entity concept. The first accounting concept is known as entity concept. According to this concept, the business is treated as a unit or entity apart from its owner, creditors and managers. So we can say that business is a separate entity or a unit apart from the owners. So this means that a proprietor of an enterprise is always considered to be a separate and distinct from the business which he controls. Thus the concept of separate entity is applicable to all forms of business organization, that may be sole proprietorship, partnership or a company. So what is the significance of such concept? It helps to find out. This concept helps to find out the financial position. Also, it helps to determine the earning capacity. The earning capacity of any business. So this is the entity concept. So for example, the owner's house, his investments, securities and other personal incomes and expenditures, these are kept separate from the accounts of the business entity. So if similarly a businessman is running some other type of business or a second business, that is also kept in a separate record. So a particular entity or unit refers to a single business only. Now comes the second concept. The second concept is dual aspect concept. The main aim of doing business is to earn the profit. So the profit earned is added to the capital at the end of the accounting period. So capital is what that remains to the owner when all the outside liabilities are paid off. We are all familiar with the term that capital is equal to assets minus liabilities. So these are the belongings which are left to the owner of the business, or we can say that assets. So what are the assets? Assets is equal to sum of capital and liabilities. So the total ownership is the assets. So there are further various things which can be added into what are the assets. The assets can be, we can say, These are the buildings. Machinery that is employed to produce, then furniture, land, cash or the stocks. These are all the assets of a company. Now the capital, this is the proprietor's capital. Basically this is the proprietor's capital, the initial investment. And what are the liabilities? The liabilities can be considered to be as loan, the creditors, the bills that are to be paid. Then comes the outstandings or the outstanding expenses, overdrafts. So these are the kind of liabilities. So whenever a transaction takes place, it has to be recorded in two or more accounts to balance this particular equation. So what is the significance? This helps to create a double entry system So all the business transactions are recorded on this basis. No transaction is complete without a dual aspect concept. So the concept is basically helpful in disclosing the true position of the business. It discloses, significance is that it discloses the true position of business, and moreover it is also helpful in detecting the errors in accounts. It also helps to detect errors in accounts. So the third concept is going concern concept. This is the third kind of concept known as going concern concept. According to this, a business will have an indefinite life unless it is likely to be sold or liquidated in the near future. So this signifies that business is having indefinite time until it is either sold or liquidated. So most of the enterprises continue to operate profitably for indefinite time periods and are regarded as going concern. The fixed assets are also recorded at the cost when it was acquired and carried in the balance sheet at the actual cost less depreciation charge. The fixed asset as at present are not shown at their market value. So as per this concept, the assets are recorded at the cost when it was acquired. So the time at which it was purchased, the depreciation or we can say the present value, the depreciation or the present value is not considered. So what is the significance? Due to this concept, the working life of an asset is taken into consideration. The accountant does not stop writing transaction in the books of accounts even the condition of business deteriorate or goes down. So its main purpose is to write off depreciation of the assets. Next comes the fourth concept, that is regarding the accounting period concept. It is also known as periodicity concept or time period concept. Students, please remember these synonyms for such concepts because they may be asked to you in examination by the other names also. So it is also known as the periodicity concept or time period concept. So according to this, the economic life of an enterprise is divided into arbitrary periods, usually 12-month period, to report on its performance and financial position of its users. So basically in this, the economic life is divided into arbitrary periods of 12 months, so that it reflects the performance and financial position. So the concept is very helpful in comparison of the financial position as well as the earning of the single or that particular year. These comparisons help the management in planning and increasing the efficiency of business. So these are helpful to management in planning and increasing the earning capacity or the efficiency of the particular business. The proprietor and outsiders can drive various conclusions according to their needs. So this helps to conclude the performance parameters mainly. The next concept is money measurement concept, a very important concept to learn. So this is known as the money measurement concept. So what is the money measurement concept? According to this, all business transactions are required to be recorded in terms of money. So the first criteria is to record all business transactions in terms of money. So why all these transactions are recorded in terms of money? Because the monetary unit, the money is also known as the monetary unit, it is relevant and simple and moreover easily understandable. It is relevant, simple and understandable by the individuals. So that is why every asset or every transaction is recorded in terms of money value. However, there is one major limitation to this, because the monetary value is considered at the time of its purchase or its acquiring. So it does not include the factors of depreciation, or we can say the appreciation of assets. Neither the depreciation or the appreciation of the assets are recorded. So that is the major limitation. So the next concept is the cost concept. This is the sixth concept, also known as cost concept. According to this concept, all the transactions are recorded at their monetary cost of acquisition. The transactions are recorded at their monetary cost of acquisition. The majority of assets and liabilities are recorded in the account books at the price paid to acquire the same. So the important feature of this concept is that it is not necessary to show the assets year after year for an indefinite time period at the cost price. So it does not reflect the value of assets for an indefinite time period, or we can simply say for the indefinite period at the cost price only. The assets recorded at cost price at the time of purchase are systematically reduced due to depreciation till their economic life is over, and thus they are and when they are fully depreciated, they are sold as scrap. So it is only applicable to fixed assets. So this is only applicable to fixed assets, while current assets are not affected by this. The fixed assets are given in the balance sheet in accordance to their cost, and the market price is ignored according to this concept. So basically the market price is ignored. Now comes the next, the seventh concept, that is revenue realization concept. This is revenue realization concept. It is also known as the revenue recognition concept, so don't get confused. It is also known as the revenue recognition concept. So as per this, the revenue is measured by the amount charged for goods sold or services rendered to the customers. So what is the revenue? It is measured by the amount charged for goods sold or the services that are rendered to the customers. The generally accepted accounting principles require that the revenue is recognized in respect of the period during which the sale is deemed to have occurred. So the following three bases are used for determining the period in which the revenue is realized. These three bases are: number one, sales basis. The revenue is recognized or realized when the sale is completed. So it is recorded when sale is completed. The sale is completed when assets such as cash or a promise to pay the cash are transferred from buyer to the seller in exchange for title to the goods and services. The next is cash basis. The revenue is realized when the amount from sales is actually collected. So, this is based on when the amount from sales is collected. This basis is adopted when there is some doubt about the collection of the amount in respect of the sales, or the sales in on hire purchase basis, we can say on installment basis. The third one is the production basis. The production basis the revenue can also be recognized on the basis of production. This is adopted when the sales basis fail. For example, in the long term construction projects, the revenue is usually recognized before the completion of project. So, the next concept is the matching concept. So, this concept holds that expenses are recognized in the same period as associated revenues. The expenses recognized are linked to the revenue recognition. So, the expenses may be matched with the revenues whenever it is reasonable and practicable to do so. So, as per this concept, the expenses and associated revenue are recorded at same time. The concept is very helpful to correct the determination of profits, income, which is measure of the performance. So, it helps to calculate profits or income sources. This means that only the expense incurred in generating periodic revenues is deducted from those revenues to ascertain the amount of periodic income. So, all the expenses that will only generate revenue in the current accounting period are recognized, and expenses associated with the current period. So, it reflects the values of current period only. The next is the verifiable objection evidence concept. So, these are very less used. The verifiable objective evidence concept So, as per this concept, the accounting data must be definite. So, accounting data, you must note down, students, that accounting data must be definite, verifiable, very important, and free from personal bias. So, no personal indication should be there. This means that all the accounting transactions should be made on the basis of supporting business documents such as invoices, vouchers, receipts, and are verifiable by the auditors at a later stage. So, basically a documented evidence is used to verify all the recorded transactions. This is based on the verifiable objective evidence concept. And the last is the accrual concept. The last one, the 10th is accrual concept. So according to this concept, the revenue which becomes due but not received in cash must be recorded in the books when it comes due and not when it is received in the cash. So students, try to understand this. The statement is saying that the revenue which becomes due but not received in cash. For example, a revenue of rupees 100 is due, but that is not received till date. So such recording of transaction is mandatory in the books when it becomes due. So it is basically recorded when it becomes due and not when it received cash, and not when it is received in cash. So let us take an example that $100 or 100 rupees bill is due on the first day of this month, but it is not received in cash. Yet we will have to record that particular transaction on the first day of this month only, not when the cash is received. So this concept is helpful in recording cash and credit transactions. So the main purpose is to record cash and credit transactions. It helps in assessing the financial position of the business at close to the year, and moreover, the earning capacity of the business during the given period can be easily found. It also helps to calculate the earning capacity of any business in the given period. So students, this was all regarding the various accounting concepts. I hope the introductory parameters are clear to you now. Basically there are 10 accounting principles, the first one being the entity concept, then comes the dual aspect concepts. It's very important. Actually you will have to remember this equation. Then the going concern concept, accounting period concept, money measurement concept, cost concept, revenue realization concept, matching concept, verifiable objective evidence concept, and the last one being the accrual concept. So students, this is generally a brief discussion regarding the various accounting concepts. I hope these are clear to you now, and we shall be using these concepts to learn the various books of transactions. So till then, revise them and learn them.